morning, Westeros!
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners. And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're your Morning Throners. Theon, 6 on deck. Our boy Theon.
Theon Turncloak.
Theon Turncloak. Yep. Better name than Greyjoy. Boys, how's it going?
I mean, I definitely wasn't expecting the ending. Well, we could start with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Reek was kind of done, like at least.
Little pat on the back for Jeff and Nelson for not spoiling that one for the last book.
Yeah.
Good job.
Reek shows up pretty early, Clash of Kings, before Glow left. I was afraid Glow was going to let Reek not be in Reek slip.
Yeah.
So we'll get right into this part of this then. So Ramsay Bolton, he's the one that was, or he's actually not Bolton, apparently at the end.
He's
Snow,
correct.
Yeah.
But he was the one that was supposedly caught for trying to take that lady as his wife, right?
He did take the lady as his wife, Lady Hornwood. He captured her, and then they found her with her fingers eaten off, and I think dead too. I'm not sure. Is she alive?
I don't remember if she was dead or not. I think she might have been dying.
She definitely ate her own fingers, and he brings that up here. Let me see. Yeah, she's dead.
So he basically was banging. It sounded like they were on the road, though. Were they going from Hornwood to the Dreadfort, Mouse?
When he had the woman? When he captured Lady
or
Hornwood?
When he sends actual Reek in his clothes. Was he on the road, or was he just at Lady Hornwood's castle?
We'll get to that quote exactly on that, how that happens, I guess, later on.
What do you mean? Now I'm confused.
I can read it now. Basically, when Theon calls him Reek, the man laughed. The wretch is dead. He stepped closer. The girl's fault. If she had not run so far, his horse would not have lamed, and we might have been able to flee. I gave him mine when I saw the riders from the ridge. I was done with her by then, and he liked to take his turn while it was still warm. I had to pull him off her to shove my clothes into his hands. So, just from that, you can make some guesses at what's going on there.
Yeah.
Can you? I'm fucking confused as hell by that part.
So, Reek basically was taking seconds on Lady Hornwood.
I don't think it's Lady Hornwood.
Oh, just another girl?
I think it's just some random girl.
Okay. All right, so fine.
Well, this is kind of where I get confused, but go ahead.
So I just didn't know where they were. It almost sounded like they were like traveling back to the Dreadfort, and he just kind of like sent Reek home, or was he at a castle? Like it's.
I'm not sure what you mean.
When he sends Reek, when he shoves the clothes into his hands, where were they?
So Reek actually existed at some point then, is what you're saying?
Correct.
That's what Ramsay says, yeah. The wretch is dead. Yeah. So there was basically two people. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there was two people doing something when Roderick rolls up. It involves a girl. Like Jeff's saying, it sounds like Reek was taking seconds on some girl. Maybe not Roderick. They see somebody coming, and Ramsay's like, quick, get dressed as me, and you right away. And then he gets dressed as Reek. And then what we know, again, it's been a while, but what we know from the Bran chapter is when Roderick shows up, he basically says, like, we killed the bastard of Bolton, but we captured his servant, and we're going to keep him alive so that Robb can question him because he's the only one who knows about, like, all the crimes that Ramsay did.
I guess that's where I get confused. Is really confused. Like, how doesn't Roderick know him?
I guess that's the best question. That's a reasonable question.
Because he's Ramsay Bolton. Like, I mean, he's a pretty.
Well, he is Ramsay Snow. So he's a bastard.
Yeah, he's a bastard.
But I mean, the Boltons are their allies.
Do we know anything about Ramsay at this point, Nelson? Like,
not much.
Okay.
Well, again, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
yeah, I just don't remember if because we've seen Roose a little bit. Like, I don't know if he said anything like blah blah blah, my bastard son.
Well, like I said, like when Roderick does bring him in, there's like Roderick must tell him something. I don't really have anything in my notes about him, so I don't want to say anything. Just in case
cool. Yeah, I don't either. All right, so we start with Theon in bed and Luwin trying to give him counsel, basically telling Theon to yield.
He's trying to be the voice of reason, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because people are showing up, right? They've seen people outside the walls, far off, and just scouts. But yeah, like they know the writing's on the wall. They don't have much time left. And he's like, "Have we got any news from my uncle?" And Lewin's like, "Nope, not your dad either. No one's helping." Theon's like, "Send more birds," and Lewin's like, "That ship has sailed. It's too late."
Yeah, come on. Well, at this point, you would think that kind of what Lewin's saying, like they're just going to shoot him down. Like, I don't know, we've heard about that from.
Well, also the men are already
You're
here.
setting up a siege.
Yeah, it's way too late too.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like it would take a month for anyone of your team to get here. It's too late.
I mean, not in Theon's mind. He thinks that he could hold the North for a year. He could hold Winterfell for a year.
Food wise, I don't know if he actually believes that he could hold. Like,
he could hold the
with
walls
his men.
for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 17 at the end, right? Like that's nobody.
Yeah. Theon also does mention here that Winterfell might not be the most important because if they can hold the neck, they can really hold the North, which I believe is where his uncle was sent.
That's what Lewin says to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Theon, I think right before that, Theon accuses Lewin of not giving him good counsel. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You want me to lose?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that this kind of goes into that. You've explained that at the beginning, right? Like that some of these people are for the realm, some are for the king, whatever. He's pretty much good to the realm, is what he's trying to say, at least. He's like, I vowed to be, didn't matter who I was serving, I'm supposed to make things better, essentially, right?
He says, my order serves, and then Theon asks him who, and then Lewin says, the realm, Mr. Lewin said, and Winterfell. Theon, once I taught you sums and letters, history and warcraft, and might have taught you more had you wished to learn. I will not claim to bear you any great love. No, but I cannot hate you either. Even if I did, so long as you hold Winterfell, I am bound by oath to give you counsel. So now I counsel you to yield. So he is, like you said, in service to the realm first, but like it's basically he's sworn to the castle, not the lord.
Yeah.
See, I basically was like, all right, fuck off. Get Wex to come dress
Pretty
me.
much, yeah.
Yep.
And then he gathers the Ironborn into the courtyard.
So Lewin here does tell Theon there's a chance for mercy, but before that he goes to the yard and Theon like cuts him off, says like, no, fuck you, I'm not running out. Don't say anything else. What he's probably going to say here is something he brings up later on, saying like, your chances, take the black. And Theon likes that idea then, so it makes me wonder like if he would have let Lewin say it here, maybe he calls off all this shit with going out to meet Roderick and he just does it here.
I feel like he thinks he has a pretty good poker chip, or at least a good poker hand with Beth.
Yeah, that plan was obviously way already in motion.
But it's a delay plan. It's not like, I don't think there's any chance he really thinks does he really think they're going to turn and go and just leave? I don't think so. I think he knows it might delay them, but at the end he's
I mean, it really depends on how much Roderick was like. That's
well, I mean, if he keeps killing them, right? Like,
yeah, he says one every dawn and dusk, but
it would be curious if Ramsay didn't show up until like a day or two later, and Ramsay had to kill.
And he had to kill a few. Well, what it reminds me of is when Stannis is meeting with Courtney Penrose right outside Storm's End. And after that meeting, Stannis tells Davos, like, oh, why don't we call for Courtney Penrose's father and, like, basically hang him or execute him inside of the walls if he doesn't give it up. Mm-hmm. And what Davos says is, Courtney Penrose is a man of honor. He won't forsake his honor for his failing father. All you'll do is dishonor yourself from this. Which, again, is similar here, right? Like,
exactly.
Giving up a young daughter versus a failing father, sure, not as easy of a choice, but it's the same concept. Like, Theon's just making himself look bad, and theoretically, if Roderick does what he's supposed to do, sorry, Beth, you're dead. I got to do my job.
Well, and Roderick was very prepared to do that, and you also are forgetting they weren't the Starks, but where he already killed the Starks, like he's already killed children.
Yeah, he's forsaken his honor. Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't the Starks, but he did definitely kill children. So like, I mean, he already has very little honor.
Yep.
So Theon gathers what's there for the Ironborn, and he basically lays out the plan like, all right, they're here. I'm going to stay to fight. I'm the Prince of Winterfell. I'm either living or dying here. I'm going to draw this line in the dirt. You can either cross it and stay with me or pretty much leave without anyone calling you like a coward or anything like that,
which is pretty honorable. Like Theon has these like moments of like being honorable. Like, I'm not gonna make anyone die. Like, this seems like a thing where Theon would be like, all right, everyone to the walls. Like, I don't give a fuck what you want.
Do you think that was his mission, or do you think he was really like, all right, like who's actually here for me and who like doesn't really give a shit?
There was a little of that. I also think that he was worried that they would turn on him.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Because that's pretty much the whole
right
of his internal monologue that we're about to come up on, right? Where he like is like afraid of everybody in the castle, essentially.
Yeah.
He's been afraid of everybody. He's been paranoid as shit.
I know, but it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's definitely escalating to where like he's seeing all these people that are, even though they don't look, there's nothing on their face. He knows they're pissed at him and like,
yeah.
I mean, but who's to say, right?
Yeah. So nobody really moves for a couple seconds, and Wex, his squire, gets the motion going.
Kind of the Tyrion effect, because Wex, I think, is 12th. So he kind of shames all, like Tyrion when he says, I'll lead the charge. He shames everyone else into be like, fuck, if Tyrion's going to do it, I got to do it.
Yeah.
So Wex, a 12-year-old boy, steps up first, and he says, at least Black Lauren, who is known as like one of the best fighters, top 2, I think, on the Iron Islands, he comes second because Wex is like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Black Lauren's like, fuck it, I will too.
And there's a list of some other names. I didn't take them down.
Red Wolf, Crom, Warlog, Timor and his brothers, Ulf the Ill, Harag the Sheep Stealer, Kenneth the Whale, 4 Harlars, and 2 Botleys. I'm assuming all these people fucking die. We're not sure, but Harlaws. Is that not what I said?
I don't know what you said. It sounded like hot liars.
4 Harlaws and 2 Botleys. Yep.
And then there's 10 guys left on the other side.
But Lauren is pissed, right? Like, I mean, he's very visibly pissed about having to do this. Like, he can tell. Like, he's definitely giving off vibes.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically like, all right, fuck it, I'll die. Well, that's the conclusion Theon comes to. Like, this guy just is like, fuck it, I'll die now, I guess.
Yep.
No better time than the present to die.
Yep. At least 12 people don't move. The 10 that Asha sent, and Erzin and Stig, maybe some more. At least 10 though. Or at least 12, because we heard 2 plus the 10. Theon commands everyone who's with him to basically get on the walls and get ready. And he says, if the gods are good, I'll remember you all. It's like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll remember you. Thanks for your service.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. That's kind of a
No, I think he means, like, he says if the gods should spare us. He's like, if we make it through this, like you will be rewarded.
Okay. I kind of took it as like a backhanded, like.
I mean, he said, if the gods should spare us, I shall remember every man of you.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Like, I'll reward you guys. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so Black Lauren basically comes up. He's like, hey, once they come here, everyone in the town's going to turn on us. And Theon's basically like, all right, get the nooses ready.
Well, he's like, yeah, what do you want me to do? Kill them all? And Black Lauren's like, just kick them out of the castle. And I guess he doesn't do this because later when he's riding up, he sees Gage, who's the cook, in the door of the kitchens, and he sees a washwoman by the well, which is weird. Like, at least throw them in the dungeons until all this shit's
That's what
over.
I was thinking. Like, you could secure them because he obviously ends up wanting them as hostages.
Exactly.
But you
so
don't
you
need
can't
to have,
put them out.
You need to have enough to like keep the castle running while your 17 men guard the wall.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're right. Those 17 men aren't enough to run a castle too. You still need cooks and stuff like that. But
yeah, this might just be like the standard.
Maybe get the men that have a chance of fighting you.
Yeah, put them and keep the women and the young boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
either way, jail would have been smarter for than getting rid of them.
So Theon then goes up to, he gets dressed and gets all his gear on, then goes to the watchtower.
Well, Black Lauren suggests that he just goes and be a one-man wrecking crew on the drawbridge. He's like, why don't you just let me, like when Theon says get the noose, he's like, why don't you just let me go on the drawbridge and let him come at me? 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't care. No one's gonna cross while I'm alive. And I'm just thinking like, okay, cool. Well, you're gonna live for 3 minutes tops, and then they're just gonna come across. Like that doesn't help us at all, Black Lauren. And Theon thinks the same thing. He's like, he just wants an honorable death that'll make him make a song. He doesn't.
And no one's writing a song about Black Lauren.
Well, he was the second strongest.
He's a big name,
or second best fighter in the Iron Islands, but.
You think some washerwoman that runs by him on the drawbridge is like, well, let me go tell this story and we'll write a song about him.
Yeah, not many songs about the losers, right?
The other question, though, is like, I mean, would these people really be able to kill him?
I mean, it's 1 versus 2,000. What do you mean? And you just shoot an arrow. Like, imagine that's you in Chivalry. You're just getting hit by 2
I thought he was talking about the people.
I think he means.
Okay, no, you're right, because he says, "Is the noose ready?" And the first time I read through this, I thought he was talking about killing the townsfolk, but he was talking about just this plan that he has.
And Black Lauren's the one who.
So he's talking about something else, and then he's like, "Oh, you mean to go through with your plan?" And he says, "Do you know a better way than to deal with the army?" And then he says, "I'll take my axe, stand on the drawbridge, and deal with the army."
Yep.
Got
go
you.
get the girl ready. So we don't really know what he means by that, but we know pretty
not
quick.
at that point. Now we do.
Yeah.
So then like Jeff said, he gets all suited up. Wex dresses him. He thinks 1 to 2,000. We find out it's closer to 2 later on. Verse 17 isn't a great bet. They also have scorpions and catapults. Yeah, he went to I think he went to a tower to check out the army.
It says he was at a watchtower.
He sees banners. House Serwyn, House Tallheart, House Manderley, less common but still there, were Flint, Karstark, and Hornwood. Which is interesting. Like, Lady Hornwood was the heir to Hornwood, and then she died, so who's in charge of Hornwood now? We heard that there was, like, a Bolton Manderley
We
fight
knew there was a
over it.
Manderley cousin, right?
Well, we knew, like, Manderley and Bolton were fighting over it. I don't know if we ever heard of, like... Or, like, I think that's when Roderick went out and found... and
I'm
captured-
assuming whenever Roderick captured it, he gave it
installed
to
He
somebody.
gave it to the Manderleys. Makes sense, because the Manderleys are here. Yeah.
There's two or three names that weren't there, noticeably, right?
Glover, yep, which is the house that Osh is at. Bolton, which makes sense because they show up later. And Umber, they're just really far away. He says the shadow of the wall, so I'm just guessing they didn't get here in time. Yep.
Yeah, and they probably were like, well, they got this covered.
Yeah. Theon's like, we're fucked anyway. It doesn't matter. So then Clay Serwyn comes to the gate, and he's like, all right, time to meet. Time to parlay.
Yep. This is where he gets called Turncloak.
The first time.
So Black Lauren actually urges him not to go, right? Or at least not to go alone.
Yeah.
And Theon's like, all right, whatever. Like, go get the girl.
Well, what Black Lauren says is interesting. He says, knights are honorable when dealing with honorable people, but when they're dealing with child killers and people who don't, in Turncloaks, they don't give a fuck about their word, that he'll just murder you under a peace banner. It's kind of what Black Lauren's suggesting here.
He's warning him about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But we all know Roderick's too good for that, right?
And Theon knows he has some defense against that.
But they could have just killed him beforehand, like as soon as he was out there.
But then, then Black Lauren just throws Beth off the wall.
I mean, does he? Black Lauren doesn't seem to like being inside right now.
And if he's trying to go out honorably, that's not a very honorable way to go out. Is hanging a child.
Does he care about honor?
I don't know.
I don't think it's an honorable death he's looking for. He's looking for a flashy death.
Yeah, but he rides out.
But yeah, he rides out, meets Roderick in the market. He notices like there's a bunch of knights behind him. There's a bunch of archers ready. I don't know if they're like
snipers on the roof, man.
Yeah, I don't know if they're
cocked and loaded.
Yeah, but they're there. They've got a bow. And Roderick just basically comes at his head for a couple pages, calling him a turncloak, calling him a coward.
Yeah. One quick thing, before he rides out, right when the drawbridge lowers, a gust of wind hits him, right, and he shivers, and then he thinks to himself like, "Oh, I'm not scared. I'm just cold." And he's like, "Even brave men shiver." And I don't know. It doesn't really like have that much in common, but it made me think of the quote first chapter with Bran when he's like, Robb says he died brave and Jon says he died afraid, or vice versa. And then when Ned comes up, Bran's like, can a man be brave if he's afraid?
And scared.
And Ned says he can only be brave if he's scared.
You can only be brave when you're scared.
I just kind of got like, it's not really what Theon's thinking, but I'm kind of like, Theon is
a callback for sure.
He's being a coward, but he's scared. He's scared, but it's kind of brave what he's doing, but he's also being a huge pussy about like what he's going about.
I mean, right before he leaves, he thinks how he's gonna die alone and friendless.
Yeah, it's another quote I had. Yeah, that's a good one. If I die friendless and abandoned, what choice does that leave him but to live?
So I would say that he's being brave facing this army outside his walls, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm not rooting for the guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's what Nelson was getting at. His cause isn't just.
Yeah. Also cool. I think this is one of Jeff's favorite quotes from the show. I don't think it's as good in the books. Actually, one of the few times.
Oh my god, it's a dope scene.
When he gets there, he says, "Sir Roderick, it grieves me that we must meet as foes." Do you remember what Roderick says in the books? It's a different scene. It's like a different circumstance, but it grieves me that you have less honor than a back alley whore or something like that. Here he just says, like, it is my own grief that I must wait to hang you, which is again still pretty badass. But
yeah,
the other one is pretty. The way he delivers the line is pretty good.
It's way better. Roderick's death is way better.
Yeah, I guess we can we talk about it now that it's done?
I mean, he dies.
Yeah, so in the show,
Roderick dies the way Farland dies, where he's the guy that kind of talks back to Theon when he takes over. Roderick's in Winterfell when he takes over, and he kind of talks back, and Theon has to chop his head off, but he takes a couple strokes or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Roderick. Reek isn't ever captured as Ramsay in the.
That's
Ramsay's
weird,
never there beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't make nearly as much sense. I don't want to know.
I agree.
The book did a better job of leading up to the takeover of Winterfell, but Roderick just has a dope line where he's like on the headman's stump, and Bran's freaking out like, "No, please, Theon, don't do it, don't do it, no," and Roderick just looks over, he's like, "Easy, boy, I'm going to see your father."
Oh man.
And then he just starts hacking at his head.
Yeah.
And like Roderick's just the man.
Yeah. It is a good
But
scene.
it doesn't make, I guess the Bolton side doesn't really make sense.
Exactly.
Because like, why would he want to be Theon's friend and show up and help? Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to know how it works in the show.
Yeah, it's weird. They kind of give the characters to different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so right there, when Roger's talking shit, he also calls him Turncloak again. And Theon's like, fuck that. I'm Prince of Winterfell and a Greyjoy. I was born with the Kraken sigil, like you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not a Turncloak. This was my destiny.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he says.
Yeah, I was never a Stark. Like, I was never on your side.
Yeah, I was a hostage. And he's like, well, Ned didn't keep you in a dungeon. He kept
But like,
you...
let's be real here, right? Like, part of the reason he's here and could get in and do all this stuff was because he was Theon and he was here for 10 years, right?
Sure, absolutely.
What do you mean? He didn't take
he
the
was
castle.
trained.
Oh, you're saying the ability, like the...
Well, I mean, that these people didn't just rise up and kill him right away and like,
Well, I don't
were
know.
friends with them in the castle.
Like, I think if he would have showed up and been like, hey, it's me, I'm Theon, I'm back, let me in, and he would have got in that way, but he
like
didn't.
the Boltons.
Yeah, he attacked it in the middle of the night and like scaled the walls.
Yeah, but I mean,
see
like,
what you're
he had to have
saying,
known
but
the walls and stuff, and like, I mean, that's not quite the
he
same.
had an advantage because he knew the castle, but he didn't. I don't think
Yeah.
he took advantage of him growing up there.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
But
also
he
part of the
does
reason he
mention-
wants the castle so bad. Sorry,
Sure,
Jeff.
exactly.
Go ahead, Jeff.
He brings up like drinking with these people and training with these, whoring. What he has relationships with some people.
Yeah, he talks about the
Um,
knights who are standing there ready to fuck him up.
He
if
diced with
goes
them
AWOL.
and stuff. Yeah.
So I'm sure he had some friends, even though it seems like a lot of people in the castle didn't really care for him.
Yeah, I mean, we even heard like him and Benford Tallheart, like some of the other lords' sons and stuff knew him pretty well.
Yeah. But Roger is basically like, we should have changed you up and I shouldn't have taught you how to fight, but here we are.
Yeah.
Now I can't wait to kill you.
And basically he says, if you give yourself over and give us Winterfell, and we'll let everyone go free.
Those who didn't
Mhm.
murder kids.
Yeah.
And then Theon gives his terms.
It's like, if you leave, I won't kill you. I won't destroy you all, which is kind of weird because it's not really what he ends up threatening. He just ends up threatening to kill someone's daughter, but okay. And Clay Sermon's like, you're mad. Like, what the fuck? Like, we have so many more people than you. We know you have less than 50.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, we don't need Robb to come back north to take the castle. Like, I can deal with you myself, is basically what Roderick's saying.
It's curious. I'm not curious, but a statement that Theon makes is that Robb won't even make it up past the neck. Like, we control the neck right now. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to fail at Moat Cailin.
Yep. Basically, when Roderick's like, I don't need Robb, that's when Theon raises his fist, gives the signal, and he can't see the wall, but he can see Roderick's face, and he knows when Roderick sees what he sees. Yeah.
His daughter getting put up to the noose.
Yep. Roger
Pretty
tells
much-
him he's craven, but yeah.
Roderick's pissed to start, too.
But he's not surprised, and that kind of hurts Theon, right?
Is he not surprised? I didn't.
Yeah, he said he is not surprised, he thought, with the sadness, but the fear is there.
Yeah, I mean, he knows at this point he killed 2 kids, right? So he knows his daughter's in the castle.
Yep.
So he probably either thought like she's a hostage or she's probably getting like turned out.
So this is one of the things that I kind of
died.
totally wrote off the first time as like, Theon, you're a dick. It's not the same, right? Because what he says is, I know what it's like to be in best position. I was in that position my whole life. I was 10 years old when I got taken by Winterfell. And Roderick says it's not the same. It kind of is the same. I want to read this
Is
quote.
Beth
but
10 years old? I just wanted to know, how old is Beth?
She's about 11 or 12 right now.
I mean, it is the same thing, but it's not the same thing. Like, he's alive still. They didn't threaten to ever kill him, right?
Well, that's the whole implication, though, which is what Theon's saying.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, I was thinking about it. That's why the pause there.
Yeah, no, this is what I said. Like, I'd never thought about this on any other read through until this one. Like, I'm going slow and like looking at him. Let's read this quote. Theon's face was impassive.
The noose I wore was not made of hempen rope. That's true enough, but I felt it all the same. And it chafed Sir Roderick. It chafed me raw.
He had never quite realized that until now, but as soon as the words came spilling out, he saw the truth of them.
No harm was ever done you.
And no harm will be done to your Beth, so long as you...
Sir Roderick never gave him a chance to finish.
Viper!
The knight declared, his face red with rage beneath those white whiskers.
I gave you the chance to save your man and die with some small shred of honor. Turn cloak. I should have known that was too much to ask of a child killer.
His hand went to the hilt of his sword.
I ought to cut you down here and now and put an end to your lies and deceits. By the gods, I should.
Theon did not fear a doddering old man, but those watching archers in that line of knights was a different matter. If the swords came out, his chances of getting back to the castle alive were small to none.
Forswear your oath and murder me, and you will watch your little Beth strangle at the end of a rope.
Sir Roderick's knuckles had gone white, but after a moment he took his hand off his sword hilt.
Truly, I have lived too long.
I will not disagree, sir. Will you accept my terms?
I have a duty to Lady Catelyn and House Stark.
In your own house? Beth is the last of your blood.
The old knight drew himself up straight.
I offer myself in my daughter's place. Release her, and take me as your hostage. Surely the castledom of Winterfell is worth more than a child.
Not to me.
A valiant gesture, old man, but I am not that great a fool.
Not to Lord Manderley or Leopold Tallheart either, I'd wager.
Your sorry old skin is worth no more to them than any other man's.
No, I'll keep the girl, and keep her safe. So long as you do as I've commanded you, her life is in your hands.
Gods be good, Theon. How could you do this? You know I must attack. Have sworn.
If this host is still in arms before my gate when the sun sets, Beth will hang. Another hostage will follow her to the grave at first light, and another at sunset. Every dawn and every dusk will mean a death, until you are gone. I have no lack of hostages.
He did not wait for a reply, but wheeled Smiler around and rode back towards the castle. Yep.
But then he kind of runs. He's like, "Fuck, man, I need to get out of here."
I might get shot.
Yeah, he starts a little hop
faster and
canter
faster.
because of the archers, and he starts galloping when he sees Beth and the heads. Yeah, he's ashamed at himself. But yeah, it's interesting. It is kind of the same thing, right? He even says you never got hurt, and he's like, neither will Beth. That's the whole point. We're chill. Just
it's a much faster play, but yes.
Yeah, and it seems what's weird is it doesn't seem as dishonorable when the Starks do it with Theon, but it's kind of weird because it's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? It makes you think.
For sure. I mean, and we kind of just had this conversation else with where we're at in House of the Dragon about just being a ward, and a ward is an honorable way to take a hostage.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and we don't know the situation. I don't know the situation when he became a ward either, so I can't really input in this conversation, I guess, because maybe it was Balon Greyjoy's idea because fucking Ned was ruining everything, and he's like, take my son as a ward, and I don't know, that.
About as much as us, I'll say, but that's fair. We don't know a ton of details about the time. We know there's a rebellion. We know Theon's brothers.
Yeah, maybe they're getting crushed back. Maybe they were losing big, and it was Balon's. I mean, that probably wasn't from what we know of him, but maybe it was his idea.
I doubt it, just because what we know is that he by the end of the rebellion, Theon is the last son. So he'd be take Asha. I could see that, and who knows? Maybe he already didn't like Theon that much by that time. But based on what we know,
I mean, we find out how Theon just thinks about if it was reversed and it was Balon and
he's he wouldn't give a shit.
Which I think is interesting, because if we're talking about how this is
interesting,
because if we're talking about how this is the same thing,
and Balon doesn't give a shit, then why didn't he rise up?
The reason why I think it's not quite the exact same thing is Balon doesn't have 200 times the men. He was a kingdom, and he didn't have the ability to just come take Winterfell if he wanted and risk Theon, right? We don't know. Maybe he wanted to and just didn't have the strength. It seems like he did want to, and as soon as he has the strength, he does it because he's doing it now. But also, maybe he just was waiting until Theon came back. Right?
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like he cares for Theon, but it also he doesn't attack until Theon comes back. So it's kind of weird.
I mean, the other situation kind of changed too, though. The way the realm is right now is definitely not.
That's what I was going to say.
Both of those situations changed, where he did all of a sudden have more power than the North. At least the North, what was in the North at the time.
Did he really have more power?
Right.
Yeah.
Than what was in the North at the time, and he also had his son back. So it's hard to tell. The implication is he cared more about the power than he cared about having.
I mean,
Theon.
if Roderick's 2,000 men were waiting for them on the shores, they're not attacking. They're just not collectively together. What's left of the North is all separated at their house.
My point is, say immediately after Theon gets captured by Ned Stark 10 years ago or whatever, when Theon's 10, I guess 19 years ago, say immediately after that, somehow a huge army, 100,000 men just showed up and they're like, Balon, we're yours. Would them having Theon have stopped him from attacking, or would he have been fuck it? The difference is Balon didn't have the ability to attack even if he wanted to. Roderick does.
Yeah, that was never an option.
Right. I gotcha.
So, but I think it's interesting that the parallels. Theon's like, my father would have attacked right away when he didn't. He literally.
Yeah.
We don't, again, I'm saying, we don't know if the hostage worked or if it just was implausible, but it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. So Theon runs back. He canters back. because he's afraid an arrow is going to get loosed from behind him. And he's like, I need some wine.
Yep.
A whole lot of wine would do. And he starts drinking in Ned's room. It's funny that he calls it Ned's room still.
Yeah, not his.
Then he has that thought to himself really about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's just thinking about how he kind of betrayed Robb at this point and asks for mercy. He doesn't ask for mercy, just thinks about it.
He kind of thinks about this earlier too when they call him a turncloak. I think he has like a thought like I think people have called him a traitor before, and even here when Roger calls him a traitor, he's like, I was born a Greyjoy, I'm not a traitor. But in his head, he's like,
I fucked over Robb.
I was sent back to Pike with the goal of sending the pikemen to Lannisport, not with attacking. So yeah, maybe I'm a Greyjoy, but I still straight up lied to Robb about what I was gonna do. He got some guilt for that, for sure.
And he was friends with Robb. Like that was like one of his friends.
He thinks about like how he feels different now than he did before the Whispering Wood. He's scared both times, but it was one thing to go into battle surrounded by friends and another to perish alone and despised. Mercy, he thought miserably. So
and that's when he goes and starts shooting his bow.
Yep.
For a long time.
Yeah. He gets sore. He thinks how he saved Bran with his bow before, and he's like, if only I could save myself with it. And then
Lewin comes up behind him.
I think there's a cool like little symbolism here. Behind him, the broken tower stood, its summit as jagged as a crown where fire had collapsed the upper stories long ago. As the sun moved, the shadow of the tower moved as well, gradually lengthening, a black arm reaching out for Theon Greyjoy. By the time the sun touched the wall, he was in its grasp. If I hang the girl, the Northmen will attack at once, he thought, as he loosed at the shaft. If I do not hang her, they will know my threats are empty. He knocked another arrow to his bow. There's no way out. None.
Yeah, he's got a little catch-22.
It's interesting when you think about it, right? Because he basically he's on a timer. He's got till sundown till he knows his fate, and they're talking about how as the sun goes down, it makes this shadow of like a black arm grab him.
And then here comes Lewin and says, "Hey, maybe join the black."
Yep, take the black.
And the broken tower is where Bran fell, right?
Yep, exactly.
That's true.
So Theon tells him, "Get the fuck out! I've had enough of your counsel." And he's like, "I'm fucking shoot you with this arrow." And Lewin just keeps chirping.
Right.
Lewin's basically like, just do it. You won't do it. He calls him out. You bitch. You won't do it.
And he says, take the black. And Theon doesn't hate the idea.
He thinks and smiles about it.
He's like, this is the first time he saw an actual way out where he lived.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, and he thinks like he could actually excel. I could be First Ranger. I could be maybe Lord Commander. Maybe I could be at Eastwatch and actually captain a ship. I could maybe whore around Molestown. Or, he's like, okay. I can do this thing.
People are pretty respected to some degree. Yeah.
I'd get my honor back, basically, too.
But good old Crom runs out yelling. And Theon's scared at first. He's like, oh, shit.
It's
happening.
over.
We're fucked.
And he's like, they're fighting out there. He thinks, oh, maybe it's Asha. And he's like, no, it's Northmen with bloody men on their banners.
They're fighting. Well, at first, it's like they're fighting themselves. Almost like they've got
dissent among the ranks
in between, but then we find out that the flayed men have joined them and are now fighting them.
Yeah, he's surprised. He's like, how did Reek really come through? He's like, the fucking stinking guy somehow actually got the men he said he was gonna get.
This dude that told me that he knew people. I know some people. Yeah, and then he left. Like, how he really actually came back? I didn't think he was gonna come back. Right? Yeah. I feel like that was my prediction.
I don't even remember. I don't remember the last time we had Theon.
I think Theon thinks, like, as soon as he leaves, like, fuck, I'll probably never see that guy again.
Never see him again. Yep.
So they go watch the battle from the battlements.
Yep. People dying, banners, blades.
A lot of sound.
Screaming. Yeah. Yep.
Theon mentions the Dothraki here and the stars.
Yeah, because, like, dusk is just setting, like, as all this shit's happening and the stars come out. And because people are dying as the stars come out, he thinks... Like all the Dothraki
it's them becoming stars. Yeah.
Yep. So sometime later, at least it's I think dark now or
full
dark.
I feel
like sometimes
full dark. Yeah.
A knight in the red helm rides up.
Red helm, kind of cool.
Dope nickname. Kind of like a. Oh, that's old. That's Red Helm. Like if that was your knight name.
I mean, just get a red helmet, Jeff.
Might have to make my chivalry guy that.
Yeah, there you go. Put a red helm on. I don't know if you can.
Well, there's a Marvel character called Red Skull, and this guy is a flayed head, right? Which is there might be muscle there, but it's a skull, and it's red.
Yeah, it is. I wonder how good his helmet looks. We know there's some pretty decent
badass, dude. A flayed
like
man.
a person, right?
Sick.
Yeah.
A flayed person, though.
Is it painted? You would think it's just painted steel?
Or I think he says enameled. I don't know what that means. Is that just paint you put on metal? I think so, right?
I think it's a kind of paint. I don't know.
Like gold enameled metal is just like steel with like gold paint. Maybe it's like an actual thin coat of gold. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so he comes up basically like, hey, let me in. I'm your friend. And I think they're like, why would we let you in? And then he brings up he waves 3 corpses up.
Friend or foe, and he's like, would a foe bring such fine gifts? And he shows them the bodies of Leopold, Tallheart, Clay Serwyn, and our boy Roderick. Been through a lot with Roderick.
Missed half an arm.
He was with us like with Cat the entire first book.
I was not ready for him to go. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to die here.
Yeah.
Came out of nowhere.
I wasn't either. I like Roderick. So they open the door. Oh, before he's like, oh, holy shit, we actually won this.
Well, Lewin throws up when he sees their bodies.
Yeah. But Theon thinks about how close he was to actually yielding.
He's like, thank God I didn't.
Taking the black.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes away.
I won. They open the door for the new friends, and then...
They only lost 20 to 30. They killed 2,000 people and only lost 20 or 30. That is crazy.
I mean, they were just riding
surprise
up
attack,
and down
man.
on them.
Horses, unhorsed, yeah.
Well, and they came in as friends, pretty much.
Just going through them like a knife through butter.
Theon was surprised. He had it 5-1. He says he thought they were friends. When Roderick gave me his hand, he took his arm. And then I showed him my face. So you said, how did he not know who Reek was? Or Ramsay? He did, I think. He just didn't see it. Didn't see him without his helmet on until his arm
when I
was
said
gone.
that, it was when we were talking about Roderick taking Reek captive way out with Lady Hornwood or that girl that they were raping or whatever. How did he know then that he was taking Ramsay Bolton captain? So he couldn't have been there. He
was never at he was never at the Dreadfort or wherever Ramsay was living. Met. Yeah. And there's no pictures or anything right now.
Yeah, so I'll finish that quote, right? Because Theon basically says, like, who are you? Or Theon doesn't say it. He says, I showed him my face, and at the same time he shows Theon his face. And Theon probably thinks the same thing that Roderick thought, like, Reek, what the fuck? Where'd you get such good armor? And then I read some of this, like, he laughed. It's a girl's fault. She had not run. The horse was lame. Basically, as I gave Reek my clothes, or my horse when I saw the riders from the ridge. I'd been done with her by then, and he liked to take his turn when they were still warm. I had to pull him off her and shove my clothes into his hands. Calfskin boots, velvet doublet, silver chase sword belt, even my sable cloak. Ride for the Dreadfort, I told him. Bring all the help you can. Take my horse. He's swifter. And here, wear the ring my father gave me so they'll know you came from me.
He pretty much just set him up, right? Like, he's like, this way with that, when they capture you, they're never going to believe your story.
Exactly. They're going to think you're me. Yep.
Yeah. But he told him, he meant more of, like, use this to get the people at the Dreadfort to believe you. But the whole time he was setting him up.
Yeah. He tells Reek to use it for the Dreadfort, but he knows Reek's not going to make it that far, is the way I take it,
Yep.
Got your ass.
And then he smears himself with filth and dressed in Reek's rags. Yep.
Makes himself super dirty and smelly.
They might have hanged me anyway, but it was the only chance I saw. He rubbed the back of his hand across his mouth, and now, my sweet prince, there was a woman promised me if I had brought 200 men. Well, I brought 3 times as many. And no green boys nor field hands neither, but my father's own garrison. So he's like, all right, go get the kennel girl.
All right, Pala, you're up.
Pay him his pound of flesh. And Theon's like, who are you? What's your name?
What was the original deal? It was Pala, right?
Pala, the kennel girl. Yeah.
Pala, yeah.
And he's like, what's your name? Ramsay. Snow, my wife, called me before she ate her fingers, but I say Bolton. His smile curdled. So you'd offer me a kennel girl for my good service. Is that the way of it? So Theon's like, uh-oh, this isn't good.
Oh, shit. This guy. This guy
and he's inside.
Not who I thought he was.
Yeah, I might have fucked up here.
And I don't want Palace. She smells like dog shit. I want Kyra.
Your girl.
Who is your girl. It's like, what? You're crazy. I'll have your...
Yeah.
Bam.
The bastard's backhand caught him square, and his cheekbones shattered with a sickening crunch beneath the lobstered steel. The world vanished in a red roar of pain. Sometime later, Theon found himself on the ground. He rolled onto his stomach and swallowed a mouthful of blood. Close the gates, he tried to shout, but it was too late. The Dreadfort men had cut down Red Rolf and Kenned, and more were pouring through, a river of mail and sharp swords. There was a ringing in his ears and horror all around him. Black Lauren had his sword out, but there were already 4 of them pressing in on him. He saw Ulf go down with a crossbow bolt through the belly as he ran for the Great Hall. Maester Lewin was trying to reach him when a knight on a warhorse planted a spear between his shoulders, then swung back to ride over him. Another man whipped a torch round and round his head and then lofted it toward the thatched roof of the stables. Save me the phrase, the bastard was shouting as the flames roared upward, and burn the rest. Burn it. Burn it all. Last thing Theon Greyjoy saw was Smiler, kicking free of the burning stables with his mane ablaze, screaming, rearing.
Not good.
I wasn't ready for Lewin to go either, right? Like, I mean, he seemed like a good dude I thought he was going to be, a voice of reason for quite some time to come.
Spear between his shoulders, yeah, not good.
And
then run over
by a horse.
Interesting that Bolton is saying, save me the phrase. Right, we got Little Water, Big Water, and he knew them because he was here as Reek for a while. Knew them in some capacity.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wants another chip, right? Like, that's...
Highborn boys.
Exactly. They were basically hostages to the Starks. Now they will be...
Well, they weren't hostages, though.
They were wards. We're talking about that.
But they were sent here through that deal. That had nothing to do with hostages.
It's always at the end of the day, it's a ward when it's good, and if it's bad, they're hostages.
Yeah, and I don't think this was bad. I think this was like, wasn't this part of the deal to get them across the bridge? They said, well, we'll take your guys in. We'll teach them some stuff.
Sure, but for the Starks, it was more or less, like being a ward is not a hostage thing.
Necessarily.
But it's also a way that they're like, all right, we're going to ward your kid, but it's really, we're taking him so that you don't fuck around, because if you do fuck around...
It could become a hostage real quick if you fuck around. If you fuck around, you're going to find out.
I thought it was a beneficiary deal for the phrase.
Well, it is if it stays good, right? Like Ned and Robert were both wards at the Eyrie.
At the Eyrie with Robert.
They were never really hostages, but if it also made sure that the Starks and Baratheons never fucked around with the Arryns, right? Or else their sons are in danger now. So it
Why did they end up there? Is that a plot point later on, or?
Well, I think to your point, it's not always like, hey, you're coming here as a hostage.
It's a sign of peace, kind of too, right? Like
it's like an honor. Like
we'll go. The other main reason they do it is to build friendships between children of great houses, right? Ned and Robert had a great friendship. Theoretically, they're hoping Walder and Bran and Rickon grow a friendship. It doesn't seem like that was happening, but I think that's the idea partially behind some of the...
Do you think they had fun playing the Lord of the Crossing?
Getting fucked up by the wolves, yeah. I don't know. But I think that was the idea, right?
Fair.
Yeah, the initial idea.
All right, Kyle, prediction time. What's going on?
Well, I mean, obviously the Boltons are now trying to take over the North too here. So
North is up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no army at home anymore, especially now that the... all of Castle's group is gone. So
also, how's Roose going to react to this? Because he basically we had heard him get news of his son's death, and he was basically
happy about it, right?
He was basically like, good riddance. My son's kind of a dickhead anyway. Yeah, so like, I don't know. I do know, but
yeah, I mean, maybe they start marching back north. I don't know.
That's what we heard about Ramsay, is that Roose was like, all right, fuck it. Like,
yeah, who cares?
Well, I mean, we knew that going into it. Like, even before, like, they're like, that was when they were talking about Lady Hornwood. They're like, oh yeah, she can't marry him because that guy is fucking awful.
Yeah.
And he's a bastard.
Yeah. But so, I mean, I guess that's my prediction, and I don't feel like 100% on it, but Roose decides to start heading north, and then that will fuck Arya over, right? Like, as soon as he leaves, she's going to, what's his name? The Vargo Hoat, maybe?
She's already gone, though.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She left last chapter.
I forgot that the very end of the last chapter, she peaced out. But it would have fucked Arya over immediately. How's that?
Arya can't be very far.
Exactly.
I'll make that my prediction. Why not?
Cool.
Roose back north to deal with Ramsay. I don't know the words for the flayed men.
Our blades are sharp.
Oh, wow. That's some words right there.
I'm glad I picked them for my
yeah.
Okay.
This scene was definitely in my mind when this chapter, when you picked them. I was like, "Ooh, it's gonna be a good one."
That's kind of why I keep bringing it up, is people know that this was a very early decision.
Unintentional, yeah.
Before you knew.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Yeah, so we'll see you on the next one for Tyrion... 15.
47.
15. God.
15. And we'll see the rest of you guys in the spoiler section. Thanks for listening. See you later, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle.
Later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle. See you on the
Bye,
next one.
Kyle.
Thanks for hanging out for Theon 6. Now, on to the spoiler section. Jeff, any hot takes?
All right, so 3 things I want to talk about.
Okay, I got 2 little things that are kind of niche that I don't think you have. But then there's the obvious, like, what goes on with Theon stuff.
I bet you I got one of the 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Theon stares into the fire, thinking of his betrayal. Asks for mercy.
There's some fire stuff, right? So the mercy one is, I think mercy
Thinks about mercy. Not
I think
asks for
mercy is a huge theme. So we've already had a little bit of mercy theme in this book, right? Where
Doesn't
Joffrey
somebody
tells Sansa
go by the name of Mercy?
that's a name Arya ends up going by in Bravos.
Okay.
I think at the beginning of the book, right, even at the end of the last book, Joffrey promises he'll give Ned mercy,
Mm-hmm.
and then when Sansa bitches about it, I said bitches about it, like calls Joffrey out for being a dickhead. He's like, I gave him mercy.
I gave him
a quick death.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the chapter, I think it's a callback to that, right? When Theon's like, Lewin says, if you ask for mercy, and Theon cuts him off, right? Lewin was going to say, if you ask for mercy and say you'll take the black, they'll give it to you. But Theon cuts him off and says, I know what kind of mercy they have for me. And he's right.
Right. Well, especially after killing Bran.
And Roderick offers him the exact same mercy that Joffrey gave Ned. He's like, you got to come out and give me Winterfell, and that's it.
But he also said that he wasn't going to kill him. He was going to save him for Robb. Lewin or Roderick said that.
Because that's when he comes up and says, like, it grieves me we made us foes. What he says is, it grieves me I'll have to wait to kill you. So and then I have to wait for Robb. The reason I bring that up is then I think mercy is a huge theme of. I've been listening to Storm of Swords on audiobook to like prep for the next book. I think mercy is a huge theme, right? We get the whole thing with Arya where the Hound teaches her where the heart is, right, and like how to mercy kill people. There's something else for mercy killing, I think too, in the next book. Don't
they give him that like sleeping poison that just?
Well, Arya ends up learning about like the mercy, like giving mercy in the House of the Undying, right? That's the whole thing is like giving people death sometimes is
not House of the
and
Undying, House of the Black and White.
House of Black and White. It's like that's like kind of their thing is that we give people the gift of mercy. But yeah, you're talking about the fire.
Yeah. So I mean, I think just mention staring into the fire. I don't know if the book does the same of like them actually seeing visions in the fire. Like at some point we don't really get a Stannis POV, but does Melisandre tell him to like look in the fire, and then he's like, oh, I am going to be the prince that's promised. I need to go do this thing.
He tells Davos he saw visions, and Davos is like, Stannis is not the man who would make this shit up. Like if he says he saw something, he fucking saw something. So we kind of get it through Davos's perspective that he has actually seen visions. Theon doesn't say anything about seeing visions here, but it is weird how he's like looking into the fire, having these revelations. If you look into the fire
for long enough, like you're gonna start like even if you like see black dots, right? Like you look into a light that for that long.
Yeah, and it's like you're like, are you looking into it, making yourself see things like when you're looking
at
clouds,
can even,
right?
Like you can even like look off into like just a wall, and then like you're in your mind seeing shit anyway.
Like clouds is a good example of that, right? Like you look at clouds and like. You force a shape on it, right? Like you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a fucking cloud. Sure. But if somebody asks you like, oh, what does that cloud look like? Sure. Your mind is weird in that it'll make something up pretty fucking quick.
I mean, I was just even thinking about like you just like daydream off and like your mind's eye is seeing like you're just replaying shit in your mind, but you're looking in the fire type of thing.
Yeah.
I just thought that was super weird to kind of put in staring into the fire. Like they didn't. He could have just been like staring out the window thinking of his betrayal, but he's purposely staring into the fire, which I don't know how that part of it plays out. I know his penis gets burned in the fire, right? Or
we're not 100% sure he actually loses his penis in the books. He mentions about like he cut off my fingers and other things, but we don't. It's insinuated, but never 100% straight up said. Again, maybe I'm being like the English teacher who's like looking way too much into it. But I think there's a lot of stuff, not even in this chapter, but maybe in like the last few chapters, that is setting things up for the next book plot wise, right? Like the whole Sansa chapter we had in the throne room where Tywin comes in and is like, okay, here's our orders. That's basically everything that's going to start happening. Like that's how we're going to start the next book. This one, I feel like it's more thematic. Like we got the mercy theme, like I said, we got the looking into the fire theme. I'm pretty sure we don't get a Theon chapter till Feast of Crows, or I'm pretty sure
It's
we
a
don't get a
little
Theon chapter until
curious
Dance
that,
with Dragons. There's no Theon chapters for 2 books.
That's crazy.
We didn't say it, but at some point, like, I think Kyle is gonna be like, is Theon dead? Because we're gonna get news that Theon's dead.
I was waiting for him to be like, what happened to Theon? And he didn't predict that, like, Theon was going to become. It would make
Dead.
sense that Theon would become a Reek type person, kind of.
If I was on the first read through and you press me, right? I think it's good that we don't press Kyle on things like that
Yeah.
because it makes it more like, oh, what's going to happen? Like forcing an answer. But if you press me when I'm on his first read through, I'd probably guess they either kill him or they make him a captive just because that's what we do with highborn prisoners, right?
Yeah.
Like he's saying, bring me the phrase. We even told Kyle, oh, they're probably going to be captives. If they're going to be captives, it makes sense that Theon would also be a captive.
And you don't see Theon die. So if you don't
be sus.
see him die, he can't be dead. Right, kind of. But
it's going to be one of those deals where, like Bran, next thing that's going to happen is at some point we're going to get news that Theon's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be like, what?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how he plays it off but then he's going to go a lot longer of a time without hearing about Theon.
Yeah.
But we will get a Reek thing, right?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if we even get any Reek stuff.
Like how long
Dance.
So like he's Reek in Dance with Dragons, but we don't know that it's Theon.
Kyle might go a chapter or 2 before he realizes who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think will be fun, but I mean that's fucking a long ways away. All right, so I have 2 other things. Just starting off with Lewin telling Theon to yield. I'm just, and it's not really, it's more just like a conversation about what Lewin knows and what's Lewin's real motivation here.
One thing that I thought was weird, and maybe this is in the show, and maybe I'm just crazy and I'm wrong, but I thought there was a point where Lewin tells Theon about like underground sneaky tunnels to get out of Winterfell. Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember that.
Okay, maybe I'm just crazy.
So Lewin knows that the kids are alive? Has no clue.
No, doesn't know.
Does he go to the gods? Does he die at the Godswoods?
Yes, and Wex also doesn't die. Wex is hiding in the heart tree, and he sees Bran and Rickon come meet Lewin.
And
this
Wex
becomes
goes
important
to
later.
Manderley.
Yes, I don't think he goes there. He gets captured. I think he ends up getting captured. He follows Bran and Rickon for a while, and I think at some point.
And they're trying to teach him how to read and write.
Yeah, so that he can tell them more about what's going on. But they basically done charades with him enough to find out that we got to send Davos to Skagos to get Rickon.
Yeah.
Like he followed Rickon the whole way till I think Rickon leaves to go to Skagos.
I do believe it is cool that Lewin doesn't die. So what? He just crawls to the heart tree, is preparing to die. Bran and Rickon come out because if they get burned out, do they get smoked out? Or
the last chapter of the book is Bran, and it starts with him working into summer and seeing that Winterfell's burned, and him being like, "Yo, something happened up there," and then they go out.
Lewin survived a long time with a spear through the shoulders.
We don't know how long. If there's still smoke coming from Winterfell, is how Summer sees it. He smells it in the air and he sees it. So it has to be pretty recent. I'm thinking it's pretty recently after it got burned and they left.
All right. Couple hours. Still, I mean, even if it's a half hour, spear through the shoulders.
The other interesting thing that I didn't really think, I've never thought about before is in the old gods' ways, and we'll learn more about this in the future books, like they used to sacrifice people in front of heart trees. I don't know if you remember this. Like there was a big thing, like if you die, you want to die in front of the heart trees because then your blood goes into the roots. And I think there's a belief that like all the memories of
it's
the
like
people.
It's like a Dumbledore pensieve.
Yeah, I haven't read enough of the books, but I think that's the thing where you can pull the memories out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So kind of all the memories of that person going to the Weirwood Network. So then when Bran like taps into the weird, like becomes like able to look at all the visions later and sees all the trees. He's tapping into Lewin's. Well, it's again. I don't think there's ever this is confirmed. I think it's kind of like we've heard this is a belief.
Sure.
That'd be interesting though if Bran.
I could sip that coffee.
Yeah, Bran somehow like once he becomes powerful enough unlocks access to Lewin's memories because Lewin died at a heart tree.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I'm just curious, like going back to Lewin. Like he kind of says that he even says it here. He serves the realm, and then Winterfell. And we talked a long time about him early on when he gets the letter.
Maester conspiracy.
The Maester conspiracy. Him with Lysa's letter. His motivation with sending Ned south. The whole deal. I mean, it's just like what is Lewin really trying to do at this moment with telling Theon to yield? Does he want Roderick to come back into the castle? If he gets him to yield, Roderick takes over Winterfell, and then he's inside when Ramsay comes back.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I remember like somebody commented on one of those episodes, and I went back and listened to the part of the podcast trying to hear what we were talking about for whatever he commented about. And when I was doing that, I remember our conversation about that. One thing that I think somebody mentioned and we didn't give much credence to was since Lewin might have been from Riverrun, he might have known Littlefinger from then and had connections to Littlefinger.
Mm-hmm.
Littlefinger can send, basically, if he wanted to, he could send ravens to Lewin with no one knowing because ravens go through the maester, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
say Littlefinger sends a raven, somehow gets hands on a raven and sends it from King's Landing. Lewin gets that and never sees Cat or Ned. They never even knew it showed up. You know what I mean? So that
Right.
could have been happening. So like the whole box lens thing, like what if Littlefinger just sent a raven saying like, "Hey, say all that, make this box, take this lens out of your telescope because we know Lewin has a telescope. Theon uses it here. Take the
Mm-hmm.
lens out of your telescope and make up the story, and then write this letter yourself." And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, it's written in a secret language from Lysa, but maybe Littlefinger knew that, could have known the language because they had it from kids. If Cat's not thinking Littlefinger was involved, I could see that the three of them knowing the language because the three of them were pretty good friends.
Sure.
And
Sure.
her just not thinking about it at the time. Also, she burns the letter without saying anything about it. So kind of sus. For the most part, though, Lewin doesn't seem to be that shady of a maester. At least in the capacity we see him, it's mostly in just like helping Bran. It's not in like
giving giving solid counsel to Bran, I guess. But
well, just being like you're crazy, don't believe your dreams all the time.
all right, so what about just like the idea, like why did he care about Theon taking the black? Like, what does is he just trying to save Beth and like the townspeople?
That's kind of what I'm saying. That would happen, but also like that's also just good counsel. Like Theon has no way out of this. I mean, we like what happens is kind of yes, it's a way out of this, but there's no way to predict that, right? So Lewin is actually giving good
motivation.
counsel.
There's no motivation for him to give Theon this good counsel, though.
Except that's his job, and maybe he is just like doing his job.
But who's like holding his head to the flame? Like, is he going to get fired?
I'm just saying maybe he's been with the Starks. He's maybe an honorable guy. Like I'm saying, there's potential that he's sus, but that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah.
He's not one of the more sus.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter now because he's about to die.
Yeah,
he's dying. But
and his dying words are pretty like to Bran. I think it's like he tells Asha, I think Osha, take care of him. Again, I don't know if we see that in the books because it'll be Bran's.
Yeah, I don't think he. I mean, the weird thing is the letter part of it. Like, was he helping Littlefinger? But I think he likes Bran and the kids. Like, at least
he definitely cares about him for sure. It's one of the things where, like, even if you did have ulterior motives, growing up with those kids your whole life, you'd develop some affection for them. You know
yeah,
even if you have higher aspirations.
Person.
Yeah.
The last thing I have is just Theon thinking he will die alone and friendless, and it just makes me think of how his story will end up ending.
I hope it ends something like it does in the. I hope he gets a little bit of redemption arc.
Like saving Gene Poole, or does.
Well, he already does that in the books. That's where his story ends. Is him jumping with Gene Poole, I think.
Oh.
And then he shows up in the first one of the first Winds of Winter chapters.
Well, spoiler. Do they go north?
Stannis captures them.
Okay. You might have told me that already.
Yeah. Stannis' men seemingly had people waiting for him, and Mance and his spearwives kind of helped Theon and Gene Poole escape.
Because they're killing people?
Well, I think I don't remember exactly how it happens, but I think there's like a plot and like two spearwives and Theon break into Gene Poole's room and get her out and everything. And they kind of direct Theon of where to jump over the wall because there's a big snowdrift. But there's a theory that like Mance is working with Stannis or like the one of the northern houses, and basically somehow says, "Yo, have people waiting outside this wall. Two people are gonna come jump," and Stannis does and manages to get Theon. Because I think he like breaks a leg, or she breaks a leg, or maybe they both break legs. Mm-hmm. So like somebody comes and gets them from Stannis' army pretty quick.
Yeah. Just a refresher on Mance. Mance glamours the bone guy.
Rattleshirt, yep.
And why does Melisandre send him to Winterfell? Or
to rescue Jon's sister. Jon's okay with it because he thinks that the Boltons have Arya. Turns out not to be Arya.
He knows that Mance was glamored?
Yes, he meets Mance after he's glamored. After they burn Rattleshirt, then yeah, he learns. Also, we kind of talked about this during the Laenor House of the Dragon episode, the one where he gets burned. There's a whole burn bones mean nothing with the whole Bran's body. That I think the Jon chapter where Rattleshirt gets burned is like the chapter before or after. It's really close to the chapter where Dany actually finds people start bringing her a lot of burned sheep bones.
Right.
And Jorah
And she's
says,
like,
I think, yeah, one of them says burned bones mean nothing. Like, okay, I
Yeah.
bought it the first time, but now that people are just bringing me, eating
Right.
the lamb, burning the bones, and getting me to pay them for it.
yeah.
I think those chapters are close together. The John burning Rattleshirt and the Dany one, which is cool. It's kind of like burn bones mean nothing, and that's
And then
true.
here's Rattleshirt burning.
It's not actually Mance. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That is cool.
Last thing I had is the very last like sentence of the chapter. The last thing Theon Greyjoy saw was Smiler kicking free of the burning stables with his mane ablaze, screaming and rearing.
I thought that was interesting too, just because we know that Theon has like that shit-eating grin on his face.
Yep. And here Smiler is burning and screaming and rearing. And I don't think we're going to see Theon smile
for a long time.
Again, I don't think he smiles again till as far as we have.
You don't think he bounces back after?
No, he might, but I'm saying everything we have written so far, I don't think Theon's. We don't get any more of that shit.
No, he's going to be screaming and rearing for.
So I think this is symbolic, right? Like I said, we always get like kind of these poetry endings. Like the last thing Theon Greyjoy saw was Smiler kicking free of the burning stables with his mane ablaze, screaming and rearing. Exactly what you saw. Theon is going from the smiling asshole to the burning, screaming reek.
Yep. No, I thought that was funny too. I was like, damn, you little bitch with your fucking grin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had. I don't have anything really else.
Cool. Yeah, there's some stuff from Fire and Blood that I've been like that I see connections to in this chapter too, but they haven't happened yet in House of the Dragon, so I'm not going to say it.
Don't spoil me, unless you want to have a third spoiler section.
I'm not going to say it, but I will say I've already posted about it in the Discord. So anyone who's interested in what I'm talking about, feel free to join the Discord. Let me know that you've read
Looks
the main
like
series
I'm not
and
privy
Fire
to
and
that
Blood.
information.
You are not. Let me know you read Fire and Blood, and I'll put you in those chats that Jeff isn't in because they have Fire and Blood information.
Well, now I've got FOMO.
So join the Discord, like the video, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll see you guys in the next one for Tyrion 15. Thanks for listening.
We do not so. Bye.